Welcome. Great.
All right, cool. I'm letting people in.
Thank you.
Recording.
Welcome, everyone. Good to see you. We'll just give it probably one more minute while folks are coming in because it's literally 1 o'clock on the dot.
Hello.
Hi, we see and hear you.
Great.
We're just gonna wait probably a couple of more seconds as
Sure.
folks come in.
And just so everyone knows, we are recording today's session, so we can share folks that couldn't make it, and we'll post this publicly. So just so y'all know, we are recording.
All right. I think we can get started. So welcome everyone to the first ever Maryland Arts Educator and Artist Campaign School info session. Nicholas and I are really excited to be collaborating on this program together. And we are going to dig a little bit deeper into like the goals and objectives of the program, but I'm just really glad that you all are interested in applying for it. And so we're just going to go over some housekeeping rules. Typically we ask like if you're not speaking to make sure that you're on mute. We are recording, so we also don't want to have like ambient noise in the background. And if you have any questions, feel free to utilize the chat. And we are, again, recording, so if you would like to come back to this information, we will post it on our website through Maryland Citizens for the Arts. So we're going to start off with today's agenda. It's going to be some introductions, just so we can see who is in the room. And then we're going to go deep into what is the campaign school? What does the program look like? What is it? How is it going to function? What type of structure is it? We'll dig deep into the weeds about that. And then after that, we'll talk about the application process, and then we'll have a Q&A. So let's get started. So utilizing actually, we're small enough where I feel like we can go around. I'd love for you all to share your name, your county of residence, your occupation, and your artistic discipline. And so I'm gonna just say people's names so that it's not an awkward silence in between. I'm just gonna call you and then you can unmute. So I saw someone unmute. Kalisha, did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm Kalisha Thorpe Price. I live in Montgomery County, teaching artist theater.
Thank you. And Nicole, since you were already somewhat unmuted, do you want to go next?
Were you talking to me?
Yes, Nicole Fall.
Okay, I'm sorry. So my name's Nicole Fall. I live in Baltimore County. I'm the community arts manager for Baltimore Clayworks. So I work in the city. I'm a sculptor. I'm a longtime educator in high school, college, that kind of thing. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Virginia, I see you're next on the screen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Virginia Crawford. I've been teaching with Maryland State Arts Council for more than 20 years. I've taught poetry workshops all across the state, and I live in Baltimore City.
Thank you. And next on my screen is Grace.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Grace Moore. I'm an art teacher in Baltimore City, where I also live. And I kind of like to do all sorts of different things: crafting, sewing, pottery, whatever kind of suits my mood.
Thank you. And next is Julianne.
Hello, I'm Julianne Hawk. I live in Prince George's County, and I am also a theater educator in Prince George's County. My disciplines are theater and music.
Thank you. Carrie.
Hi, I apologize. I'm in a very loud outdoor space. I'm in between gigs right now. So I popped into a mall to get some Wi-Fi for the Zoom meeting. I'm Carrie Holohan. I'm a freelance vocalist. I live in Baltimore City, but I perform all over Maryland, in DC, and up in Philadelphia.
Thank you. Rolanda.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Rolanda Williams. I live in Baltimore City, and I'm a dance teacher, pre-K through 8th grade dance here in the city.
Thank you. Bob.
My name is Bob Willenbrink, and I'm the Executive Director of the Maryland Center for the Arts. It's a new position for me. I spent several years as Dean of the School of Fine Arts at Missouri Western and retired to Havre de Grace. So I'm in the midst of arts programming for Maryland Center for the Arts.
Awesome. Thank you. Did I miss anyone? I just want to make sure everyone had a chance to introduce themselves. Okay, I think I have everyone. So first, we're going to start off with our introduction. So Nicholas and I will talk you through who we are as individuals, and then who our organizations are, or what our organizations do. And so I am Quanice Floyd. I'm the Executive Director of Arts Education in Maryland Schools. We are an arts education advocacy organization. But my background is that I was a public school elementary music teacher. I taught band, orchestra, chorus, and general music. I've taught in Montgomery County, Prince George's County, and Baltimore counties. And I am a trained violinist and pianist. Some people are familiar with my work outside of Ames, where I do a lot of community organizing. I founded an organization called the Arts Administrators of Color Network, so I do a lot of advocacy with that organization. And I am considered a registered lobbyist for the state of Maryland. So what that means is I go down to Annapolis whenever we have a session, general session, which is from January to April, 90 days, and try to get arts education policy or any type of education policy passed through the legislators' hands. So that's a little bit about me. More about Ames. Ames is, like I said, an advocacy organization. And we envision a public school system in Maryland that supports, cultivates, nurtures, and uplifts all students' creativity through a robust education experience. And we do that by mobilizing power to communities. So since my background is in community organizing, I am a true believer in power to the people. And so I want folks to really I want to train folks, kind of like a train the trainer, to advocate for arts education. The more people we have advocating for arts education, the more change we can have. You know, Maryland is a huge state, and I'm only one person. And, you know, Ames is a very small organization. So we need soldiers on the ground helping us push on a local level and a state level to advocate for high quality arts education and making sure that all of our students have access to it throughout the state. And so I'm going to pass it over to Nick.
Thanks, Quanice. And again, welcome everyone. Thank you for being interested in this program. And, you know, right off the bat, I'll say I'm really excited to be doing this with Quanice. Truly, she's one of the best advocates that I know. She really believes deeply in, holistic arts education for every single person, every single student. And on the flip side, I'm of that same ilk. And I'm also someone who's really passionate about bringing the arts, capital A, to everyone and making it democratic as far as the access. And so a little bit about myself. I'm the executive director of Maryland Citizens for the Arts. My background, I'm a bassoonist and contrabassoonist. I'm a freelance musician for many years, but I was always frustrated about sort of the lack of investment for the arts and just like kind of the always consistent struggle, especially for artists and arts educators. I think it's just not, we don't have a big enough voice. And I know Maryland Citizens for the Arts and AIMS, we try to really amplify what you all do, but the reason for this program, honestly, is to get folks in office, because that's how public policy and legislation can go even faster. And so, I'm a huge advocate, and I love public policy and writing legislation. Through MCA, I've had the pleasure of writing some bills and getting them passed at the State House in Annapolis that I think have improved and will improve the arts sector here in Maryland. And much like Quanice, I'm a registered lobbyist. So back when we used to go down to Annapolis, Quanice and I would see each other in the halls of Annapolis, banging on legislators' doors and demanding that they support the arts and arts education. So again, it's truly great to be here, and I'm so excited about this campaign school. I think it's got a lot of we're gonna do a lot of great work together. So hopefully many of you know, I recognize a lot of you on this call. So I think Maryland Citizens for the Arts should be something that you probably have heard before. Again, we advance public policy and legislation on behalf of over 300 Maryland arts organizations and thousands of artists. And this is, the legislation pertains to funding for the State Arts Council, but also things like making sure we have had a decent amount of emergency funding through COVID, and just helping to create the arts and entertainment districts through legislation, and the newly formed Arts Capital Bill that will help improve and also build out infrastructure for the arts sector throughout the state of Maryland. And then, the biggest thing is, we want to provide a huge platform for everybody to stand on and uplift all of our voices as artists and arts administrators and organizers to say that the arts are important in the state of Maryland and really throughout the country, and that no community should be without the arts. It's part of a holistic part of us as people. And of course, one of the things that I really believe deeply in is the fact that we live in a country that we should all be participating in civic engagement. It's kind of our right, standing here together. And part of our vehicle is we use arts as this way to say, hey, get involved. You can talk to your lawmakers. You can be part of the political process. We use that as kind of the entry vehicle. And then we say, once you kind of feel comfortable in there, become part of that civic engagement and public discourse and dialogue. So that's part of why MCA is really committed to a program like the campaign school. All right, back to Quanice.
Thank you. Just to kind of give you all some general information about the campaign school, I actually participated in the Artist Campaign School from Fractured Atlas back in 2019. They are not continuing that program, so they gave us the go ahead to do it on a more hyper-local level. And so what we're hoping to do is we as an educator, from my personal experience, a lot of people who create educational policies do not reflect the people who are actually in the classroom every day with our students. They don't talk to our parents, they don't talk to the students. Like they have a disconnect from the school communities. And so what I'm hoping to get out of this is to get more artists and to get more arts educators into political office, whether it be as a county council member or a school board member, all the way up to Maryland state legislators. So our objectives is that we want to equip arts educators and artists to run for elected office, to learn the ins and outs of how do you even get on a ballot, right? Like it's kind of a campaign school 101. But then also we want you to gain experience and literacy of the field. There's a lot of jargon and a lot of mess in policy. And that's one thing that I've learned being a lobbyist, like trying to read through a bill is a lot. And so we want to make sure that if any of you are interested in running, that we are preparing you for reading through bills and creating a campaign and fundraising and all of that. So inevitably, we want to create a cadre of advocates and community organizers. So we're going to talk about requirements a little bit later, but you don't have to know what you want to run for yet, right? We just want to make sure that we're creating a base of amazing people who are equipped and ready if somebody does choose to run, and then supporting one another. Yeah, so next slide, please. And so this program, it is a pilot program. We're just trying it out for now to see like what works, what doesn't work for MCA and Ames. And we have made it a 5-month pilot program so that you learn everything ins and outs and do a deep dive into the political climate of the state of Maryland. As a part of that, you will be creating a culminating political action plan. And so at every session that we have, you'll be honing in on a specific topic, and then you will be given time to kind of create a plan around that topic. It will be cohort style learning. And so whoever is a part of this, it's similar to, I know Julianne and Rolanda and a few others participate in what we call a REAL, which is another program Ames does, but with MSDE. It's a very close-knit, we're gonna make sure that we're a very close-knit group so that we learn more about each other on not only on a professional level or a political level, but on a personal level. So I really love the fact that we can potentially build our own personal relationships with one another. There'll also be an opportunity for political coaching. So in regards to the timeline, at the end of the program, there is a final date where we have to choose for the culminating event. You will be getting group coaching from a political leader in the state of Maryland. And so we're really excited about you kind of making those connections and building those bridges. So yeah, some curriculum topics is, understanding the basics with the Maryland Board of Elections, sorry. And so what is it, like I said earlier, how can we get on a ballot? What does it take to get on the ballot? Can you become a candidate? What is your story? What is your narrative? How can you build a grassroots base around the work that you do? How can you create a power analysis? What are some digital marketing strategies? How can you target voters, campaign fundraising and staffing? And so we're going to do a lot of policy through play, because at the end of the day, we all are creatives, we are artists. And so we want to incorporate creative strategies into your potential political candidacy.
Thanks, Juanice. Yeah, and so when we think about requirements, we wanted to try and make this as accessible for folks as possible. So you don't have to have, again, like what Juanice said, we're not looking for someone that's coming in with their campaign strategy and all of it built in. We really want to create a cohort, a cadre of folks that are interested in doing this. It's like sort of building this grassroots community of arts and arts educators, the artists and arts educators that want to sort of move things forward and hopefully run for office and maybe even president one day, who knows. So a big part of the requirements that we had to sort of stick with, and we appreciate all of you are extremely busy, but since this is sort of especially it's a pilot program, there are only, a few dates that we're going to offer this class each month. We really have to, one of our sticking points was we have these dates set up on the screen, you can see them. And really the biggest requirement for this is that if you are selected, you have to attend each date. Of course, we understand some emergencies can come up during the program, which we totally understand, but we ask that you commit to it if you're in the program. So you can see there every month starting in September through January, the session 5 TBA, that one is going to be in February. We're just working out some timings on that because both Juanice and I, as you all can imagine, we're in session. So we're trying to figure out what day that makes the most sense. But we're going to set whatever date we land on, they'll all start at 5:30 p.m. and go till about 8. I see a question. They will be held virtually. We're talking about maybe doing something like a get-together, like a social get-together, but we would make that optional. We want to make sure folks are comfortable. We know, COVID is still very much a thing and there's lots going on with that. So we want to make sure that people can still attend. And also we realize that people are all over the state. It might be hard to get somewhere central as far as travel and things like that. So we've learned during the pandemic, right? Virtual is a great way to do things and we can still learn and collaborate and get to know one another through this space. We also, I think what's really exciting about this is between Ames and MCA, we host some pretty great events, as part of our mission and what we do. And so there's optional learning experiences I think many of you have been to Maryland Arts Day. It's in it will be back in Annapolis. That one is in person, although we will have a virtual component. It's going to be primarily in person with some virtual stuff in February. We also MCA offers Arts Lab in the fall, which will be in person, but have a virtual component should people want to attend that way. That one will be in Prince George's County in the Prince George's Community College, their new space. They have a performing arts space. That'll be in November. And then Ames offers their arts education anti-racism symposium in November. And Quanice, I believe that's completely virtual, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, these all have fees attached to them, but if you're in this program, Ames and MCA waives the fee and you can attend for free. And like I said, whether or not it's in person or virtual, they'll all have virtual components. So it should hopefully encourage you to be part of it. Maryland Arts Day is the one thing I'll say, it's during the day. I know many arts educators might have an issue attending that. But again, we're hoping that if you can make it work within your school day, it'll be great to see you. But if not, that's why it's optional. We don't want to hold it that you have to do that. Some other requirements. So we were asking, if you attend Maryland Arts Day, that's your political advocacy event, but there are many held throughout the year in Maryland. And we ask that you attend one of these events. Doesn't have to be even arts related. It can be something that as I mentioned earlier, civic engagement is beyond just the arts. It's much more than that. In fact, if you run for office, your platform has to be, it can be arts centric, but obviously you have to start talking as bigger things than just the arts. I know it's hard to say, but it's true. But so part of the requirement is to attend an advocacy or political event, and then schedule a one-on-one meeting with a policymaker and have a sort of reflection piece after that. And of course, through the program, we'll help. Quanice and I do this all the time. Some lawmakers bite, some don't, but we'll let you know how to get through that. No worries. But again, a great experience to have. And then as Quanice mentioned, sort of the capstone to this is creating your political action plan. Because one thing, when we were talking about this program, we want to make sure you come away with some, after you say you've done the course, you sort of have this idea of where you want to go next. Whether it's, running for your local school board, whether it's, even kind of connecting with another campaign to get used to what it looks like to run a big campaign, all these different things, but you'll have a plan going forward, for the next few years on how you want to, get to higher office, start running for office, or even put your sort of ethos together on what you want to be as far as a candidate. So some important dates for you to know. Applications are already up. Hopefully you've taken a look at that. There's some, I think, great questions that we want to ask you so we know a little more about you. But they close on Friday, July 30th, in the end of business, like 5 p.m. ish. The staffs at MCA and Ames will review the applications and complete that on the 6th of August. And then we'll announce the cohort Monday, August 9th. Hopefully hear back from those folks that they've confirmed their acceptance by August 16th. And then as you saw, the first date of the campaign school will be Tuesday, September 28th. And so we look forward to officially starting the school then.
So just some general information about the application. I don't want you all to stress out about it. It's not something to stress about. And so we generally ask you like general information, of course, like where do you live, what county you work in, all that stuff. But we do have an option for a short or long answer. And that is up to you. I don't like boundaries. Nicholas doesn't like boundaries. So we want to leave that all up to you. But we do ask 4 critical questions in which we're looking for when we select participants for the cohort. And the responses could be either in text form or video form. And on the actual application form itself, it'll say, if you're doing like a video or a video attachment, you have to put in the text box, see media. So the 4 questions that are most crucial to the application are, what are the issues you most care about? Where do you want to make a difference? And so what that is, just give us all of you, right? Let us know what's been on your heart. What keeps you up at night about the political system? How are you feeling? And just let us know what type of change you want to make. And then why do you want to be an elected official? Again, what is your theory of change? Like your personal theory of change? If I am an elected official, I will do ... right? I will focus on ... What inspired you to run for office? We're always curious as to people's journeys into going towards a political office or political position. So we would love to hear your story as to why or how you ended up wanting to run for office. And then what do you want to change in the current system? Becoming an elected official is all about systems change. So what are some of the systems issues that you'd like to address if elected for office? Just like Nick said, it's not just about the arts, right? It's education, it's healthcare, it's all of that. It's financial economy, creative economy, regular economy, all of it. And so what we're looking for is people who are truly passionate, people who are community-centered. I was going to say people-centric, but community-centered. People who really want to make a change, people who really want to try new things, people who think outside of the box. So those are the things that we are looking for. And again, you can respond how you want to respond. It can be long, it can be short, just as long as it's concise and we can understand it. And it could be a video. So yeah. And as a part of that, what are we looking for? You have to be a Maryland resident because this is strictly a Maryland-based program. People who are genuinely looking for systemic change or genuinely trying to change the system. Folks who are interested in running for 2024. Again, you do not have to know what you are running for. You might just say, hey, I have an interest in that and want to learn more. That's okay. That's fine. People who care about the community, people who speak from an asset-based growth mindset. So this is an opportunity where instead of speaking about what isn't happening, we can speak about what we do have and how we can make that something better, right? So not necessarily going from the deficit, but going towards what do we have and how can we get things, resources that we need, and then let's build so that we can change this system. Someone who accepts challenges. This is going to be challenging. Looking through the curriculum, I was like, oh, this is going to be rough. For me, if I went through it, it's going to be rough because it makes you think and reflect very deeply about who you are and where you stand on political issues. So I think that's where a lot of the challenge comes from. And then also we are going to push you, Nicholas and I, and then we also have a facilitator who will be there the entire time. We are going to push you to make sure that you can answer every single question if that comes your way, because that's what happens with politicians, right? Somebody throws a question at them, they're ready. So we're going to do the same thing to you all. And you have to be an artist, an arts educator, or a teaching artist. I think that's the name of the program. So that's why we put that. And then show us who you are, give us who you really are, show us your passion, show us everything about you. Like we just really want people who are genuine, people who care about other people, people who really want to make a change. And so, yeah. And now it's time for some Q&A. And so we can utilize the chat box, or if you want to unmute and ask a question, feel free to.
I don't know if we said it officially, but the program is free of charge. There's no application fee or program fee. It's free.
Also, to give you a fascinating tidbit about how this type of program would work with two 501c3 organizations. So legally, 501c3 nonprofit organizations cannot endorse a public candidate. And so Nicholas and I are providing you all the resources up until you decide to put your name on the ballot. So that's as far as we can go. And then we can utilize the other people in the cohort to help support you once you officially put your name on that ballot. But as Ames and MCA, we cannot help you. Once you become a candidate, we cannot help you beyond that point. So it gets real tricky because the government doesn't want nonprofits affiliated with political action.
Also, I dropped the link to our Artist Educator Campaign School sort of site, and down you can see it says there's a drop down for how to apply, the interest form, which you've already gotten through that. There's just the application is there as well. And in fact, let me give the direct link to the application too. So you all have it.
And one thing I also would like to add is, like, if you all know people who might be interested in something like this, please feel free to share the information, because we really want a very diverse group. And when I say diverse, I mean like geographical location. We want to really be able to reach Eastern Shore, Western Maryland, Central Maryland, Northern Maryland, Southern Maryland. Like, we want to really make sure that our group is representative of the state.
Yeah. I second that. Other questions? Someone's got to have. I feel like there's like one good question that someone's sitting on.
Can you give examples of, you said running for office, what positions are you talking about?
So this program, because it's focused on Maryland, it's hyper local. So anything from like a district school board, if there is an election for that in your county, a district council, a county council. I'm sorry, a county council. If you have a representative, a state rep, state delegate, state senator. I'm trying to think of all the ones that's like in the middle. Like in between. So anywhere from like very grassroots neighborhood political positions all the way up to state legislature.
And I know I answered Carrie's question, but as far as, since we can't be involved in the campaign necessarily, but like resources on supporting a campaign, part of the training, we're going to have folks talk about what it looks like from developing sort of communication strategy, a fundraising strategy, and even hopefully some of the folks who will come in have been part of, I just forgot the name of, like, there's a group that supports women running for office, for instance. Someone from that will show up hopefully in this group and give sort of background on that. So yes, there'll be lots of support there, and we hope that you also connect with some of these people down the road, so that you should you choose to run for office.
And there's a question about assigned reading. We won't have assigned reading. I feel like the only time we would distribute any type of reading would be during the session, because the political action plan is going to be hefty. So that's going to be the focus of what you all are continuously working on throughout the time. So we probably wouldn't have additional assigned readings. We would have more interactive reading and reflection during the sessions. Well, cool. Well, we're always here for you. So if you need us, I'm going to put my email in the chat, and Nicholas is going to put his email in the chat. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. But we're really, really excited that you're interested. And again, if you know anyone else who might be interested, please feel free to share.
Yeah, please do. We're really excited to host this campaign school and hopefully get artists and arts educators in the political process and running for office. So, and again, thanks to Quanice, and it's great to see you all.
Thank you.
Have a great day,
Thank you.
everyone.